Chocolate and cocoa were especially popular. People strolling between exhibits stopped at the Dutch Houten and Zoom cocoa concession in a large exhibit building strategically placed along the lakefront walk, right in front of the manufacturer's building. Walking around the fair in the summer was hot, especially in the heavy jackets and vests that almost all the men wore in Victorian America. But the women were even more overdressed, in hats, bustles, petticoats, and long-sleeved dresses buttoned severely at the neck. Women could always have ice cream or seltzer water from the concession stands at the Wellington Company, but the men had a relief from the heat that most respectable women wouldn't resort to in 1893: beer. Quite a variety of beer at the Columbian Exposition, and because of Chicago's large German population, there was a brewing tradition. At a time when water quality could be bad, beer was the daily drink of a lot of working men. There were several beer gardens on the Midway Plaisance. You could get beer at the German garden and the Austrian village. At the Irish villages, you could get a sampler of stouts and ales that were not often brewed in America. You could get beer in the Algerian theater and the Alhambra, and beer and wine in the Turkish village. Near the beer gardens were the cigar vendors that were all over the fairground. Full of the cigar smoke and the clink of foaming schooners of beer, the beer gardens were a man's world. They were nearly always full. A lot of men, it seems, didn't see much of the fair, other than the beer gardens and the dancing women on the Midway. Tucked away in the horticultural building next to the wooded island was the most discreet and the classiest way to get a drink at the fair: wine. Because winemaking involved working with vines and fruit, it made sense that the horticultural building would have wine exhibits among the flowers and pear trees. It was probably the biggest selection of wine that had ever been available in America, with exhibits, tastings, and bottles for sale from every winemaking country in the world. California easily led the American winemakers. Others came from Missouri, Ohio, New Jersey, and New York. The French had the largest exhibit with 60 varieties of their best clarets and an even larger number of Burgundies. Germany had a large selection of Moselles and other Rhine wines and a display of an operating wine cellar. Italy sent its famous dry red wines. There was sweet wine from Spain and Portugal. New South Wales displayed the first exhibit of wine from the growing Australian vineyards.